Over there? Okay, so we can have a look at that. Please, madam.
Well, I'm Moroccan. Maybe I don't see like Moroccan. Sorry. And my English maybe is not very so fluid as my home landscapes colleague. Well, I'm very proud to be there with you, with the other landscapes, because it's the first time really I participate to such panel, to international panels. And for me, I wanted to say something very simple about the gardens of the Moroccan pavilion. It's just an experience of land, of tradition that we want to give. It was not something very technical, something very intellectual. We just want to remember the visitor our tradition, because when we speak about landscape, you know, just about our profession. Landscape profession doesn't exist in Morocco. I am present as an architect or something else, but I have no follower. I just wanted to say, and it was for me a surprise. They told me to participate because there is an architect, and normally the architect makes everything, outside, inside, decoration, scenography. In Morocco it's the same. Well, then I had to make it proud and a real un défi, I say in French. And I wanted just to remember our history and tradition about the water, because when we say landscape, we can speak of everything else than water, because without water we can do anything. And I just wanted to remember our ancestral know-how about water, because you know our traditional historical gardens, our agricultural landscape also, they are using a system of irrigation that we cannot make it not now. Even the Moroccan people, the Moroccan visitors, that they didn't even know their patrimoine and tradition, and I just wanted to show it to them. And the outside gives an experience which is simply the same but different at the inside the building, because the inside is very central, of course, like I hope the outside, but artificial. And we cross the same landscapes from the north to the south. Just I wanted to cross three representative landscapes and gardens, because in Morocco it's the same landscapes, gardens, because it's just of the way we domesticate the water. It's traducing by just some orchards, gardens, but it's always to feed. It's not just to be nice and it's okay. Of course they are smelling, their herbs and something nice, but it's always to be used for the people. It's not just nice. And that's what I wanted to make discover. We have three main ecosystem. Natural ecosystem, which is the mountain, our great mountains with the olive grove, and we cross over the orange grove, which are the real historical garden. Maybe you know Menarat, Marrakesh, or the big. They are very, very ancestral, traditional garden, and also with the difficulty of water, where we don't have any water, which are our oasis, we have some technicals, very simply technique of using water, and also with stratification, with using endemic vegetation. Then we choose for each ecosystem a typical palette that is typical from our ecosystem in Morocco. Just also to see the mixity, the adaptation between the difficulty of climate and non having water and the vegetation. Well, just see and come to Morocco and see them. It's better to see the pavilion. Just miniature.
Thank you, Bonnie. thinking about tradition in your landscape architecture. And you have a lot of tradition, good tradition, by using territory starting to become landscape. And you translate it in a very wonderful way. So compliments for your special landscape architecture work. Now we come to the Oman Qatar pavilion, where Architetto Marco Pestarozza. You are alone, you are with some priest. Valeria, ciao.
Prego. Valeria, grazie.
Okay, I will say in English. We are not the architects nor landscapers. I mean, we are, but with some friends that called us from Bahrain, saying, "Would you like to take care of these two pavilions? We have designed and bring it through." We say, "Yeah, okay." When the two pavilions arrived on our desk, we were kind of shocked as architects because, oh my God, this is not real architecture. I'm saying this because as we went along, we realized that in this context of Expo, we became more and more attached to these two pavilions because they're not architecture, but they're actually they're not a statement of an architect with an exhibition inside, but they are an exhibition on itself. You can see it over there, and the return has been very nice. The people going to Qatar, they walk through a souk where they can buy things. They have this rather straightforward idea of the Jafar, which is this rather straightforward idea of the Jafar, which is the basket where they hold the food, which is a basket, it's not mediated by anything. I'm talking to two pavilions together because it will be faster and they've been done more or less in the same way. Oman, on the other hand, talks about it's an exhibition in itself. Then you go in and explains you what happens, but you don't need to go in there. When you arrive to the Oman pavilion, you see Oman. And it is a kind of theatrical event by where you have completely out of scale. We have these mountains with the houses that are typically of Oman, of the mountains, and then this viaduct which takes the water from the mountain down to feed the fields. And the sundial is also a very important item because this is so little water in Oman that the people had so many hours each to use the water. So it was telling the time, people can use it this time, and this time. So there's these elements that come out in a very simple and straightforward way. And Qatar shows inside this huge basket. It's actually quite technological because there is a multimedia show, but from the outside it's not. So I think it is a happy way because the Expo talks about a very sophisticated item like sustainability and like feeding the planet, but it also talks about something which is very easy to understand, which is food. People go there, they eat, they have fun. And when you go there, it is also, for me, it's quite fascinating because it is not a show-off only of architecture, but a show-off of the people and it's like a big feast in a way, like a village feast. That's one part. Very briefly, the other part, how it's all been constructed. It's been very interesting for us. But for the first time, I had to deal with something very different, building a theater stage rather than a piece of architecture. And we use a lot of fiberglass, and you may say this is not sustainable, but then you find out that fiberglass is completely sustainable because through a chemical process you can divide the fibers from the glass, and the glass is a natural material which can be reused as it is, and the fibers, of course, they will not be the proper fibers anymore, but they will be used to how do you say, fatten up other plastic materials like polyester or foam or other things. So it is a sustainable element. Amazing enough. I think finished.